Tell us a little bit about this report, if you could give us a little background on how you gathered your information.
Sure. So we have heard for years, anecdotally, from our community members that making the leap from being an engineering manager to being an engineering director is famously difficult. A lot of times, women's careers get stalled right at that moment. And we wanted to combine what we've been hearing and all of these anecdotes with real life data. And so we partnered with two of our partners, Mayfield Ventures and All Stacks, and we did a survey to try to find out what's the data, what's causing that, why is it happening, and where is it happening. And so that's what really prompted this study. And the study was, what we got back was really truly really interesting. As you look at where those challenges are and why they're happening, I think traditionally the quick answer was a lot of cases, well, there's systematic bias, and that's fine. There is, we believe, but we also we're trying to pinpoint what specifically is happening. And so we identified this break between the man being an engineering manager and an engineering director as the director ceiling. It's the broken rung on the career ladder that you see a steep drop off of representation between those two steps.
Well, let's dive right into that then. So the report does call out that director ceiling where women's representation drops sharply from managers to director levels. So from your perspective, or that of SheTO, what are the biggest systemic barriers causing this stall and this advancement?
There are a number of things that cause this. If you can think about it, it starts from the very beginning. Today, only 15% of engineers identify as women or non-binary. So even at the very beginning, we are starting with a somewhat small number, but then you add in other factors like just the isolation of working, being the only woman on your team, in your field, in your group. That's a big challenge. In addition, there is onboarding. The way that new hires are onboarded often doesn't show a path to leadership. One of the things that the report found is that you need that clear line between your role and how to advance in order to be thinking about leadership and understanding how that's metriced and how that will be recognized.
Am I right in assuming that representation of women in engineering leadership is better in smaller companies compared to larger ones? Um, so, if so, what strengths do small to mid-sized companies have in supporting women's advancements, and how can they build on those to scale leadership opportunities?
That's a very great point, and it actually was somewhat surprising to us. We found that women in CTO roles at smaller companies were represented about 17% versus enterprise. When that number drops steeply, when you get to enterprise, that number is below 7% of women that are holding that top position